I kind of don't know where all my money goes every month.
And this happens every single time.
My spending is like an issue.
Do you know how much cash you have?
Right now, like 0.
I don't want you to be miserable. It is eye-opening. You're gonna learn so much about yourself. Like so many Gen Zers, our guest is juggling debt, lack of savings, and the high cost of living. So let's break down their finances to see if we can flip their money story and put them on a path to becoming a rich nerd.
Hello.
Hey, how can I help you?
So I'm 25. I'm living in New York City, and like my yearly income is 86K, but what I take home is 2157 every 2 weeks.
Okay, so 4,300 per month.
Yeah, and that like includes like any kind of taxes being deducted, as well as like my health insurance and my 401k contribution. My debt, I have 6,000, and it's like a Social Security like back payment that I owe through no fault of my own. As a child, I was getting benefits for a disability. And at some point it was determined that I was no longer disabled, I think when I was like 16 or 17. So I just owe this amount, but I just recently found out about this.
Wow, such a niche thing. I haven't heard of this before.
Yeah, I've tried to dispute it like once, but apparently I just have to pay this. So that's my only debt, no student loans. And I just paid off my credit card the other day.
What was the damage on the credit card?
Oh, nothing crazy. My credit card limit is only like 300 right now because I only recently started using credit cards because that Social Security debt like really tanked my credit score. So I've been in the process of kind of like building it up. My rent, $14.35. Utilities are at most like $175, and then my Wi-Fi is $55.
How about groceries?
I don't track this really well because I eat out a lot, so I would say $250 for 2 weeks.
What would be like an average for you for just food in general? Eating out, groceries, what's like typical, you think?
Probably something crazy like $500. I budget like $200 a month for my gym, some like beauty subscriptions or like memberships. I would say that's $200 that I put aside after that.
So right now we're at like 2,300. Do you know how much cash you have?
Right now, like 0.
And this is like across checking and savings?
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like I have 2328 in my 401k.
All right, so just to recap here, you're 25, you're living in New York City. You make about $4,300 per month after tax, after health insurance. You have $6,000 in debt. Your expenses are about $2,500, not a whole lot in savings, and about $2,300 in assets, and that's your 401k. And what were you hoping to get out of this call? What's the one thing I can help you with?
Yeah, so I just want to get a better idea on how I can use savings to grow a large amount of money in a short period of time. Only because I'm looking to buy a car in the future and I don't want to like lease it. I don't want to do any sort of like, I don't want to have a car payment.
You don't
I just
want to
want to like
finance.
buy my car and then just be one and done. Exactly. Yeah, I don't want to finance it. So any sort of like strategy or any tools that I can use to like put some money aside every month and know that it's growing at a pretty consistent and maybe like considerable rate so that I can get a car like within 12 to 18 months.
Yes. Let's, do you mind if we go through some of the basics here?
Yeah.
So the first thing that sticks out at me is the savings, obviously.
Yeah.
One thing I'd love for you to do is build this up to a certain point so that if you lose your job or you do get that car eventually and it breaks down, you don't have to go into debt to pay for this stuff. You have a nice little cushion.
Yeah.
And it'll just save your ass in those situations. Ideally, and we can start small, but ideally about 15K would be nice. That'd be like perfect. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but we can start small. And the way I got that is we basically do 6 months of expenses. That's just a solid number.
Yeah.
If we want to start smaller, and we absolutely can, 7,500. And the reason why I say we can start small is some people, they kind of need, motivation. This 15K might seem like crazy high and they may never do it because it just feels kind of hopeless, But if you have a smaller target, it might feel more manageable. So that's the first thing. The second thing is this $6,000 in debt. Do you know if there is an interest rate, APR?
No.
So there's no interest on it.
Yeah, they just want it back like in one lump sum.
Did it go to collections? Like, did they send it to a collections agency?
I want to say yes because that was the only thing on my credit report besides the most recent credit cards that I opened.
Okay, cool. So you checked your credit report. That is awesome. If it is a collection agency, then you can more than likely call and negotiate and be like, hey, I can pay a lump sum of $5,000 now, or I can do, a certain amount each month. But the key thing here is to try and negotiate because they more than likely can. Number two is we want this to be removed from your credit report. I forget the exact term, but you can negotiate basically once you pay it off that they'll basically send information to the credit bureaus, the bureaus that keep track of your credit report, credit score, Experian, Equifax, those companies, to remove this from your credit report. And that'll jack up your credit score.
Oh, awesome.
Here's what I'm thinking for that. Because I want to build up a nice savings for you, but I also want to pay this debt off. And then eventually we can get to your investments, which it sounds like you're doing. We'll talk about that in a second, but then also your car. So you have about $4,300 per month. Your expenses are about $2,500. So would you say you have around $1,800 left over? Does that sound about right?
I'll be honest, I kind of don't know where all my money goes every month.
Okay.
Because it's I would assume that sounds like a good number, but every month I'm kind of upside down. I'm in the negatives or overdrafted or something. So I think my spending is an issue because I haven't been allocating anything towards savings.
Fair enough. And I think most people fall into that situation. What I would do is you can start simple. You could download a free app, connect your bank account, your credit cards. That way you can track to see where your money is going. And then at the end of the month, you can look back and be like, okay, wow, usually everyone, this happens every single time. It's wow, I spent so much on food. Almost every person. So there are some free apps, highly recommend downloading one, connect your accounts. It is eye-opening. You're gonna learn so much about yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I've been looking into that. I use Google Sheets to try to keep track of things, but I think when I came across your channel, it kind of motivated me to sort of look into getting audited and fix my bad habits.
Well, right on. Well, most people don't learn this lesson until way later. You're super young, so you have so much time to fix this, and then you'll be thriving in no time. So cool. Yeah, the reason why Excel is great is it's super manual, and you have to just remember to do stuff.
Yeah.
So at least with the app, it's literally connected to your accounts, and it'll, for the most part, categorize purchases fairly well, and then you can go and look at pretty charts and see where your money's going.
Okay, awesome.
Cool. But let's assume you have, let's round this down actually. Let's say you have $1,000 to work with each month. So I still want you to have a little bit of fun. I don't want you to be miserable. So I want to try to account for you going out with friends and having some fun. So you have $1,000 to work with each month. You have this $6,000 debt, and we also want to build up maybe $7,000 for that emergency fund. Maybe we can just split it in half just to keep things simple. We can do $500 towards a debt and then $500 to your high yield savings. And you said you're with Marcus Goldman?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if we do some basic math here, you have 6,000 in debt there. If we divide that by 500, you'll have that paid off in a year, this Social Security thing. And that's before trying to negotiate. You can probably get this down a little bit, and maybe it'll be paid off in maybe 8 months or so.
Okay.
Which is pretty...
Yeah, I've just been kind of ignoring it, but I probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I highly recommend just take care of it, because it's gonna, a weight will be lifted. You're gonna feel a lot better, and just not having debt's a good thing. And your credit will be better, so if you need to finance a car, it's gonna be essential.
Okay.
And then for the high yield savings, let's say we want to get to 7,000. This will take about a little over a year, I think. About a year and 2 months. I think that's a pretty good place to start. And obviously we're just sort of doing some napkin math. You can sort of play with these numbers, see what works for you, see what you want to prioritize more, and take it from there. Now, the next thing is your assets. So you said you have a 401k or something.
Yeah, it's through my employer. And I started my job back in September, and I've just been putting in 3% because at a year my job will match at 6%. So this upcoming September I'm looking to start contributing 6%.
Perfect. Yeah, we want to get that full match. All that's free money. So whatever you have to contribute, and obviously if it's going to be affecting your living situation, I don't want you to starve obviously to get that 401k match, but as long as things are okay and stable, yeah, get that full match. That's free money.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and I mean we have bonuses and stuff, so I guess with the next promotion, then it'll kind of even out anyway.
Okay, right on. And I forgot to ask, but what do you do for work?
So I'm working in product management at a health tech company.
Okay. What does the career trajectory look like? And then what does the compensation also look like? I'm just curious.
Well, I'm in an early career development program, so I'm expecting at the 2-year mark to be hitting 100K. But I do intend to kind of jump around a bit because I heard that product management in tech can be super lucrative. And it is my first job out of college, so I'm entertaining the idea of another role at a different company, but for now I'm feeling comfortable. So
yeah, if I had to do it over again, I would absolutely job hop. The thing is, the job market's a little shaky right now, so just keep that in mind if you decide to do that. But yeah, you can job hop, negotiate for more money, because you'll always make more money by negotiating at a new job as opposed to trying to negotiate your existing salary. Almost always.
Oh, and also another thing, I recently heard back from like a apartment lottery and they're looking to kind of like go through with my application, but it looks like I would be eligible for a $1,700 a month place, which would be about $300 more in rent than what I'm paying now. But my building doesn't have an elevator and I live like on the 4th floor, and like they have some pretty cool amenities in the new building, so it's like, would it be advisable to make a kind of like mid-year jump to another, like it would be in the middle of my lease too, like I'd have to break my lease and move. Is that wise to do like so suddenly when I have like no savings and want to buy a car eventually?
Hell no.
Okay.
Yeah, let's stay put, and then once we have a solid foundation and your income can justify it, absolutely. You're saving enough for retirement, you're consumer debt free. Yeah, if you want to move to a different place and have some nicer amenities, nicer place, shorter commute, totally. But right now, the highest priority, we got to get you out of debt, get you a solid emergency fund, and then start budgeting just to get a handle on your finances.
Yeah, I think I just needed someone to tell me no.
A lot of homework to do, but if you have any questions, let us know, and then once you get to a place that's a little better, we can talk about the car, we can talk about maybe increasing your investments, but I think you have a lot to do so far. So overall, I'm not terribly concerned here. As long as they take care of everything we talked about, they can be thriving in just 1 year. But this is only if they start actively managing their money. Otherwise, they could fall back into a similar situation with zero savings and debt. Speaking of savings, make sure you ditch Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo for a bank that pays you over 300 times more interest.